Hi, my name is Maggie Villette, and this is Module 16 for AEP 858. And I am a kindergarten teacher in the Shawnee Mission School District.
Okay, so we're here as well. This is Katie Dinkle, and I teach first grade at Tecumseh North Elementary, and that's the Shawnee Heights district right outside of Topeka. Awesome, and my name is Stephanie Lane, and I teach in Clay Center, Kansas. I teach fourth grade, ELA, and math.
Great. Awesome. So our question, as an advanced educational professional, how would you apply data and data analysis to ensure your continuous improvement plan is focused on closing gaps? So a little bit about the school that I am at currently. So currently I teach at a Title I school in the Shawnee Mission School District, and the school went through major restructuring 2 years ago. So what happened 2 years ago was all of the teachers had to reapply for their job if they wanted to work in the school, and a lot of the teachers said that they did not. So a lot of teachers left, so our building is a lot of new teachers, not necessarily new teachers to the profession, but new teachers to the building. So the focus, the mission and vision is focusing around building a positive school culture and then improving student performance. So our school has focused a lot this past year. Our professional development has been focused on priority standards and grading on priority scales to measure student mastery of those specific standards. So we have, as a staff, chosen priority standards that we think are important for each of our grade levels. So what we will be continuing to do this next year and the years to come is creating common assessments, and these common assessments will be given and they'll be related to those priority standards. Students will then receive a number on the priority scale that's related to the specific standard. So the scale goes from 1 to a 4, and we want students to be at a 3 or a 4. There will also be pre and post assessments to gauge student understanding of that standard. And as an advanced educational professional, I will look at the data relating to students' performance on the priority standards. So I would like to have data organized in a shared Excel document, so all teachers have access to that, and they can see how students perform on specific standards across the grade levels. So from one standard in kindergarten that is similar in first grade, we want to be able to see how students are doing across the building. So the data will show how effective our teaching is relating to students' performance on specific standards. And then in order to do that, staff need to reflect on the teaching and learning cycle that they've done relating to a certain standard, and then teachers will reflect on their teaching and then have discussions on changes that will be made in order to help improve student learning. So and then the last part, in order to close the gap, the goal would be to have students performing on a level 3 or a level 4 on the priority scale. And if students are performing below this, we would need to implement interventions in order to help them earn a 3 or a 4 on the scale.
Great. Well, I noticed that you said common assessment, so I was kind of curious, who is responsible for creating those common assessments, and how's that look to ensure that, they're not all maybe too similar, especially if you have similar standards?
Sure. So the district has cohorts with certain grade or with specific subjects. So there is a first grade ELA cohort. There is a kindergarten ELA cohort. So there are teachers from across the district that are meeting, and they are creating these common assessments. So then these common assessments will be given throughout the district, but yes, so that's where those common assessments will be made. So yes, it would be a lot if the teachers just within our building had to make them, but they have time. If they are in those specific cohorts, then they have the day off to go to those meetings and meet with teachers from across the district.
Okay, awesome. So my question is, you talked a little bit about just the identifying the need and then putting the interventions into place. Do you guys have a built-in, like an tier time and intervention time? I mean, different buildings call it different things. What
Sure.
does that look like? Or is it just up to your discretion and your schedule?
Well, and that's kind of, yes. So we are supposed to have a specific time, but the past 2 years, it has not been very consistent. And so, we're supposed to have our innovation specialist and our special ed teachers that are supposed to come in during certain times, but because of just different issues that arise, that doesn't always happen. And so that time isn't as sacred as it should be. And so that's something that that I think that we really need to work on. So, yes. So that.
How many sections? Because you're kindergarten, correct?
Yes. Yes.
How many sections of kindergarten are there?
So the past 2 years we've had 4 sections of kindergarten. This next year there's 3. We'll see if we add another one. That's what's happened the past 2 years. So we have 4, but every other grade level has 3. So kindergarten has the most. So we have 4 sections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So some of the help that I've just, because of this coming up, just some of the questions that I have had is just giving teachers time to, once common assessments are made, just giving teachers time to look at the common assessments and know what they're asking. And then because there's a lot of reflection on the teaching and learning cycle, we need time to plan that as a grade level team. So that's something that I need help with. And then just having professional development on how to analyze data. And so I think, a lot of data is thrown at us, but not necessarily teachers don't necessarily know how to analyze that and what that means for us. And so those were the 2 biggest things that I needed help on with this topic.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Does your district ever give you time for all the kindergarten teachers to meet? Like, could that be an opportunity where, even though the cohort plans the test and designs it,
Sure.
Is there a day or an afternoon they give you where you guys all get together and can look at it then?
Right. So what our meeting time looks like is PLC time. So every week we have what is designated as 20-minute, it's only supposed to be 20 minutes every week, but that is never enough time. So we just go our full plan time once a week. The district, since I have been there, and this is my 3rd year there, I have not been a part of, just a day where we get a sub, kind of like what you had mentioned, and having just a day to meet with our team. So we have not had that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's not available. So that would be something just great to ask the district and to see if that is something.
That would be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of where my mind went, Stephanie, is just that structured, and really I think it's what Maggie was requesting anyway, that structured, I don't know the word I'm trying to think of, but basically untouchable time where this is your time as a team, or, I know if you're teaching a certain content area for multiple grade levels with your content team, whatever that might be, because we need the time. We can't assess and analyze the data and have a plan of action without time to do that. So,
if all of our team members don't understand the assessment, then it's not even helpful to assess the data.
Of course. And it's hard to plan for it if you don't know what you're assessing on. And of course you don't want to teach to the test, but you need to know this is definitely going to be more focused towards those standards that we think are really important. So what I'm hearing you guys both say is that it would be nice to just talk to district leaders to have some time and maybe even make it a half day. So time for teachers to meet with their grade level teams and maybe any other people that are a part of that, the interventions, to talk about the common assessments, and then time to talk about the data and what that means for their students and moving forward. So those are great suggestions. I appreciate that.
And there's so many ways to go about that. Because in our school, we kind of did that model of once a month you had a half day PLC where subs came into your room, and it was wonderful. Yeah. And then, the big word budget cuts.
Yep.
And so we had to kind of restructure. And so now, I'll talk about that later in my video, but now it's a very different setup, but we still get that time. And so I think that's the biggest thing. I think people think well, we can't do half a day once a month. That's not realistic. Sure. There's so many different ways to build that time in. You just have to be creative and flexible. So
yes. Well, and absolutely. It sounds like that's really important. Just being able to meet as a team to have those conversations. It's so important to be able to understand that and to move forward. So yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your help and suggestions.
Absolutely. Thank you.